While searching for talented Michigan residents, we came upon the works of Saginaw artist Ashton Sorrels.
Hi, my name is Ashton Sorrels. I'm an artist living here in Saginaw, Michigan.
As a student attending Delta College's art education program, Sorrels' work has gone from simple sketches as a child to award-winning art gallery showpieces.
I've always doodled, but actually churning out pieces, specific pieces, that has been since around high school and college age, like late high school, early college, finally starting to sell and do commissioned work.
Delta College art professor Randall Crawford has watched Sorrels' talent grow over the years.
Ashton has won different awards at Delta College during our student show. She's just an outstanding student.
According to Crawford, Sorrels' artistic talent earned her a place as one of 17 artists chosen for their own art gallery show.
I only picked a select few that were more advanced students, like Ashton, that had a nice body of work that was cohesive and related, and she did a great job.
When we met with Sorrels, she highlighted some of her favorite artistic compositions.
This piece is called Two-Face. Basically, the title is literal to the piece. It's sort of a metaphor on the different feeling, how you feel one day, but then it can be different the next. It was a fun piece to do. There was a lot of thought that went into it, how I wanted to approach the idea that sometimes your life is more hectic than other times. Sometimes it's a little bit more structured. And this piece just highlights, one day you might feel a certain way and the next day it can be completely different. Or you might have a mask on. That really, there's a lot going on inside when outwardly it doesn't look that way.
As an art professor with more than 19 years of experience, Crawford offered his insight as to why Sorrels' artwork was so exceptional.
I love the diversity of how they're split up and such complete opposite, from realism, but a lot of mark making, to the left side of all patterning. So it just creates this nice juxtaposition of pattern and then push and pull because of color theory. And again, one's sort of realistic and the other half is very abstract and patterned. And it's just well executed and a wonderful concept. What I was looking for is just some great pieces Ashton has completed. One recently is a pop art influence piece of ketchup bottles.
The ketchup bottle piece is my favorite. It's titled The Good Stuff. It took over 20 hours to complete, to finish, because the medium is sort of difficult and takes a while to get exactly what you want. A lot of copying and painting to go along with it, but it's my favorite, and I think it's the one that turned out the best.
Another real exciting piece and diversity from the pop art is more of a cubist piece that she did, a drawing that was on display again at her show. And it's just all developed on Picasso's Cubism. A lot of times in the different drawing classes, they'll get an artist, Cubism or Expressionism, and then they have to develop a piece based on that.
Mannequin and Cylinder was a piece that was featured at the Saginaw Township Hall art show last year. It's my first real try at Cubism, but I thought it was a pretty successful piece. It was a new technique that I hadn't tried before, and I was happy with the results. I like to see if people can pick out the figures that are in the composition, because a lot of people have a difficult time finding the mannequin and the cylinder, but they're in there. Map is another one of my favorite pieces. It abstracts the idea of a map. I was able to use a lot of bright colors, and I wanted something that stuck out, that had a lot of highlights and a lot to look at, a lot going on, but at the same time was easy to look at, and there was sort of a central focus.
The map one is a wonderful selection of abstraction and vertical and horizontal lines.
In addition to her own creativity, Sorrels is also fueled by artists she has studied along the way.
My favorite artist for most of my life has been Chuck Close. He does these massive portraits of people. They're done in these very small dots that compile the whole image, and from far away you can't tell, that they're actually different designs and filling up these tiny boxes when really, you know, this giant picture is made up of, you know, thousands of different designs and things. It's just very interesting to me and something that I hope to do in my art, to make these, you know, huge pieces that are fun to look at and that there's a lot to.
Even as she is inspired by others, Sorrels shows that her own creativity and imagination have no boundaries.
This is called the Tree of Wisdom. It's a digital piece that I've done. It actually makes a tree. There is a pendant of mine that has always been very dear to me, of the owl that makes up the top of the tree. The trunk is actually my wisdom teeth that I had removed the year before I did this, and they're scanned in on a regular scanner. And then there's some effects applied to them, obviously, but my teeth weren't black when I did this. The backlay is the definition of wisdom, just repeated, which I thought was a really interesting element. And scribbled around the outside of the piece is the word wisdom.
With the words, the combination of the words and the imagery and the technique, Photoshop and all the digital Adobe programs really take a lot of learning curve. And this piece, I think, is one of her strongest, and one of the strongest in the class that piece was. It's a real gem.
As Sorrels continues to experiment with painting and other artistic mediums, she said she will also focus her attention on her growing experience in graphic arts.
I really love graphic design, which is what I hope to have a future career in, owning my own graphic design business.
Even as she grows as an artist, Sorrels says she also finds time to enjoy other activities.
I love sports. Right now I'm on a couple volleyball teams and I really enjoy that. Pretty much anything to get outside, get exercise. I love chasing my kids around. There's something new to do every day. My 3-year-old, who's about to be 4, is just crazy and likes to paint and do art, so that's a lot of fun to kind of see myself through my 3-year-old, to see his creative skills.
For artists who are just starting out, Sorrels offered the following advice.
If you're getting your start in art, I suggest just entering in and applying to as many shows as possible. Just a way to get your name out there. Encourage your friends to let other people know that you do art if you're willing to take commissions and things like that. But you have to start small. You can't go to shows expecting to sell your pieces for $1,000 a piece. You have to start out and be willing to work with a customer